What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dummy Wormy. I'm coming at you with another Acolyte review, and I gotta be honest, guys. Outside of maybe Soul being extremely emotional and kind of creepy, this episode does not depict what Leslie Headland said it was going to depict, and wasn't actually making anybody evil and making what the Jedi did evil. Legitimately, all I saw was the Jedi being treated like garbage, having to deal with a psychopathic cult, getting attacked by said psychopathic cult, and now we're supposed to think that the Jedi are the bad guys? I don't know what Leslie Headland thought she was doing with this episode, other than showing Soul as just being completely creepy and kind of too emotional, but it doesn't show what she thought she was going to be showing here. And we could show you with this episode, because when we come over to the episode and we start scrolling through and stuff, it's the flashback episode. It's the second part to the flashback episode. That's all it is. So we watch as, for I don't know how many minutes, the Jedi are going around Bryndock to look at weird stuff, sightings of life and everything like that, because Bryndock was around a area of a massive galactic cataclysm event, blah blah blah. It's a whole thing from Let's Get High Republic, where at the beginning there was a massive like hyperspace way crash or whatever that caused a massive cataclysm and blah blah blah. That's what they're researching. All the other planets are deserted and desolate, but this planet gets life. Why is that happening? I'll just spoil it for you. It's for something called a convergence style thing. I don't know. Some area that even life can be born from the forest. That's what they're in search of. That's what they're hunting down. So we're watching as they're constantly going over the place and just searching the entire time. You see each Jedi. You see Master Indara, Soul, TORBIN. By the way, justice for TORBIN. This is horrible what they did to this poor boy. I don't get it. I don't get it. And we'll get to the point when TORBIN gets treated the way he is. Justice for TORBIN. So they're doing their thing. They sit around a campfire at night, and TORBIN just asks, hey, why are we here again? You know, bull crap, exposition dump. Already should know why he's here, and brings it up all up, and it's a whole searching for life, massive cataclysm event, you know, everything that everybody should already know. And it's just it's stupid, and they're not allowed to go back until they can figure out what's causing life, and they're searching for the thing that causes life. That's their whole point of being here. And they're just talking about it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So next day comes along, they're continuing the search, and then Master Indara says, hey, we should split up. Soul, you go that way, we'll go this way. He hops up on a speeder bike, takes the speeder bike, and I can't get a good shot of it. Oh, right here. Yeah, this is some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. Does not look like a speeder bike going by. Doesn't look natural. It looks like somebody's taking a PNG and just sliding it across the screen. It was horrible to look at. We watch Soul walking through the forest and randomly start seeing something. We hear something, and oh my god, it's the tree from the first flashback. And guess what? He sees May and Osha doing the May and Osha stuff from the beginning of the first flashback episode. Oh, so he's creeping up on two little girls because this place is supposed to be uninhabited. But now he sees people inhabiting it, and he's like, oh my god, there's something here. There's two little girls. What's going on? So he then, you know, follows them, obviously. Oshi, May, he gets the names, everything like we saw at the beginning of the last time, and does their whole stuff. You see Mama Zabrak come by, take him away. Soul then tries to, I believe at this point, tries to communicate with Master Indara. Master Indara isn't picking up, or he's out of range or whatever. Can't get through, so he has a decision. Then we get the whole intro, blah, blah, blah. So this is, other than being incredibly stupid of an episode and not doing what Leslie Headland thought it was going to do, this whole thing right here throws an entire wrench in this entire series, and it doesn't make sense on how all this works. This is a lift. to get to and from the whole sediment stuff. This is the only way in and the only way out, naturally. So you mean to tell me that the two girls used the lift, were managed to get by everybody, even though they're not allowed to go out, they're not allowed to go, like, leave the compound or anything. They managed to get around 50 some women, all of which are trying to protect these two, sneak around all of them, get to the lift, and then use all the buttons to get down the lift and leave. I call major bullcrap on that. That's how they had to get out. Introducing this throws an entire wrench into everything, and now you have to believe a fantastical reality that does not exist and should not exist. But okay, so he watches them use the lift to get back up. He tries to use the lift, doesn't work. So what does he decide to do? Climb the entirety of this cliff to get in and out. Why do any of this? Report back to Indara. Report back to all them. Why are you going up there? Oh, well, because Soul's stupid and too emotional. That's what they wanted to depict. So we watch as he literally climbs the wall, gets all the way up there. And you remember that scene where there's that random creak when we watch as Mama, what's her face? Jodie Turner-Smith decides to start abusing the girls. Yeah, you remember that creaking? That was Soul the entire time. Yep, that mysterious creaking. That was Soul, and does the creaking, goes away, and the scene plays out the way we saw it play out before. So then we end up watching Soul look at the cavern as the bunch of witches are preparing some ritual that we don't even know what they're supposed to be doing. We don't understand it. It's that weird ritual thing from the flashback episode that still doesn't make much sense and becomes very creepy the more you end up thinking about it, and the more this episode goes on, it seems even creepier. So we end up going back to the Jedi's base camp, and Soul fills him in on everything that's going on and goes like, there's witches here, there's all this stuff. TORBIN goes like, Night Sisters, and they're all like, you know, TORBIN and Kalnak are freaking out, and Dara's like, no, they're not Night Sisters, and says there's force cults all over the place, and we don't have the right to interfere. And he's like, Soul's like, I'm pretty sure these girls are in danger, because it looks like they're in danger. But he's like, I'm positive these girls are in danger. Something doesn't feel right. We need to be investigating, and it just doesn't feel natural. And Dara's like, fine, we'll go and take a look, okay? We'll go take a look because you feel like it's all terrifying. So that's what they do. They go to the whole place. They talk about like, what is this thing? Oh, this place must have been an old mining system, and this is a lift, and there's barely any way in, so we got to cut our way in. That's exactly what they do. They cut their way in. And we go back to where they first introduced within the whole flashback episode, you know, in the middle of that whole ceremony thing. We watch as they come in, and this is justice for TORBIN. This is 100% justice for TORBIN. And we watch, you know, it plays out relatively similar to when they first showed up, except this time we watch as Mama Jodie Turner-Smith literally starts torturing TORBIN. Just gets her way into there, because it was already established that TORBIN's a Padawan. He's not yet so skilled with the Force. He's a little on edge. He wants to go back to Coruscant. So she weasels her way into his head and starts torturing the poor boy. He's been tortured by them. We watch it all play out, and how she's like tempting him using the dark side, like, let your anger flow, let your emotions take hold. I can give you whatever you want. Just say the words you want to go back to Coruscant. We just watch as she's berating and torturing the poor boy. This is horrible to watch. And she ends up beating him on so much that he starts crying and says, I want to go back to Coruscant. And she says, kneel for me. And that's when he does the whole freak out back at the first episode. She tortured him. I'm supposed to think these guys are good, or at least morally gray, and the Jedi are bad. All I'm saying are the witches are evil, and the Jedi were right to take May and Osha away. 100%. So, okay, they end up playing out the rest of the episode, you know, like free him, oh, do whatever you want. We have the right to train the Padawan, blah, 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 with your permission, even though that doesn't make any sense, but, oh, okay, whatever. They end up going away, doing that stuff, and Torben looks at him like, oh, I'm scared, and walks away. So we go back to the ship where it's pretty obvious, and Dara's berating Torben for letting her into his head. He's never encountered witches like this. He's never encountered moments like this. You saw him be a little bit emotional at the beginning of the thing. He's not as strong as you. And you're berating him for getting tortured. No wonder the poor guy wanted to off himself. He was always put down and beaten up by them. So, okay, Soul comes by and Dara moves away. And Dara says, hey, it was clever and suggesting the test on the girls. And frickin' Soul's all like, yes, it's a good idea, but I have a feeling that Osha's meant to be my Padawan. She's meant to be with me. And Dara's like, she's too old. We can't be doing this. And he's like, she's marked with this dark magic and all this stuff. And like, he's laying out a decent thing, but it's all emotion based. It's all thoughts around this whole idea of she's supposed to be mine and mine alone. I desire her. It's so creepy what they're doing to him. And Dara's like, fine, we'll put them through the test, but whatever happens, happens. And then we have to call the council, okay? So the test episode begins, and we see, you know, freaking Torben's out there to greet them, and he's all terrified. We watch Torben bring May in, and Torben ends up, you know, taking the blood sample just like he did with Osha. Whatever, it's what it is. We watch May come up for the test and sit down so that they can take the test. And we watch as May gets every one of them wrong. And Dara's all like, do you really want to be here? And May's all like, no, I don't want to be here. I want to go back because I want to be a part of the Ascension. And Dara starts asking her, what's the Ascension? It's like, I don't know. But Mama says the Ascension means that Osha and I get to lead the Coven. And they're like, you're a child. How can you lead? And she's like, I don't know, but Mom says that we get to, sometimes all of us have to make sacrifices and to fulfill our destiny and do all this stuff and be sacrificed. And it's so weird what this whole Ascension thing sounds like, and it sounds like some sort of death cult. Everything just sounds like somebody's gonna die at the end of the Ascension. It doesn't seem good. So May ends up leading, and Soul goes like, I have a plan for the other girl. Let me lead the test. And you know, we end up going back to the whole test, how Osha did it, and Dara's now displeased with Soul with how he did this all and coached her into taking the test honestly. He was lying the whole time. He caught her lying, and he's like, you really want to be a Jedi? Take the test honestly. Just give us your decent answer. It's still all up to you at the end. You know, he does all the thing, and Dara chastises him for doing it and says it's a bad idea. She then tells frickin' Torben to go to run the blood samples and take a look at it, you know, see what happens, and that and Dara's now going to be talking to the council. So we watch as Soul is walking around base camp basically saying something's wrong, something bad's about to happen. As Dara comes by and says, the council has said no, you're not allowed to do it because you coached her and you affected her destiny. So she's not allowed to come with us, and they're not accepting her. Well, then they're like, we need to keep looking around for more proof. Soul's all like, no, there's evil, but we need to go help them. We need to help them out. And as they're all doing this, their blood work comes back in, where Torben starts looking at it, goes like, wow, their M ratings and all their midichlorians are off the charts. It's insane how heavy in the Force they are. He goes like, something doesn't make sense. Their symbiotes are exactly the same. And Dara's like, yeah, they're twins. They're gonna have similar symbiotes. And he's like, no, they're not. They're not just similar. They're exactly the same. Like they're clones of each other. Like there's more to this. And Dara goes like, this doesn't make sense. And that's when Torben goes like, the only way that could do this is the thing, you know, the Force power. And Torben freaks out because like, we need to go find this. They're the proof. They're the proof, so we can go back to Coruscant. So he immediately runs to his speeder, disobeying Dara, saying stop. And Dara says, you, Soul, get on the speeder, go get him. Kalnaka, come with me, and we'll stop all this and everything like that. We then, oh my God, cut back to the whole, no, you can't leave, girls get separated moment. And this does not paint the witches well. Watch as they're speeding away, you know, do the talk, walk away, does this whole thing. And then the whole flashback, which should be being told from you know, Soul's perspective starts making little to no sense, because now we get more perspective from other people that Soul would not have any interaction with. And what we end up seeing is Mama Zabrax pulling May out and tells her, do you want her to go to the Jedi? Do you not want her? Do you want the Jedi to take your sister? And Mama Zabrax starts attacking May, and May just starts defending herself, and she's like, good girl, get mad, use that to your advantage, and keep your sister here, as she tells her to go do stuff, tells her to do everything. Then back in the council room, all the other witches are furious with Mama Jodie Turner-Smith because she's allowing Osha to go join the Jedi and saying, you're not just their mother, you're also the leader of the witch coven. You have to keep us all safe. And she's like, you're doing bad stuff now. And they're like, they're my children. I have to make sure that their futures are thought about. And they're chastising her for doing this. And it's all weird. It's communism. They're mad at her for not being communistic enough. So she says, I'm going to pick being a mother, and does stuff. We then watch as May goes to the lift controls and destroys them all, bashes them all in, and says, nobody's allowed to leave. We're all staying here. As Mama Zabrax says, hurry this way, because they're preparing for battle. We end up getting over to Soul and TORBIN. Soul's trying to use the Force to open everything up, not working. So then he says, there's another way in, and they both climb up the side of the hill, and he says, be careful, don't let her in. And then we cut back to this. Oh my god, it was so bad. This whole scene fundamentally establishes that, again, nobody knows how fire works. Not a single person understands how fire works and how any of this works, because it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. We should have already known that back in the first episode, but no, they fundamentally don't understand fire. So we end up having that whole thing where May locks Osha in. Osha has the stuff and starts staring deeply at the fire. Just starts staring at it. We end up, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah, Endara and frickin' Kalnaka are flying in the frickin' ship to try to catch up to all of them as they're on speeder bikes. How they get there last, I don't know. So Master Endara's all like, we can't land there, so can I get close enough for you to jump out? That's the plan. And we see as all of them are preparing for battle, Mama Jodie Turner-Smith says, what are you doing? It's like, the Jedi have breached the fortress. We won't let them take the girls. And it's just, Jodie Turner-Smith just prepares for battle, basically. And oh my god, it's so bad. As they're just ready for fighting, we cut back to May, whichever one it is, lighting the book on fire and then trying to put it out, and then freaking out that she can't put the fire out. And then we watch as the fire starts raging out of control on stone, gets up to this random electrical output site and starts freaking out and messing with all the electricity in the system. How? That wouldn't work that way. There needs to be a fuel source. How is any of this working the way they're depicting it? It wouldn't, but they don't understand basic science. So the fire rages out of control. We then cut back to the courtyard where Soul and TORBIN are showing up, and we see all the witches ready for battle, and we see Mama Zabrax there along with Jodie Turner-Smith. So they show up, and they're like, we're here to take the twins, and Mama Zabrax and them are like, no, you can't take them. They're ours, and we created them. And Soul's like, how did you create them? And they're all like, powers that you'll never realize, and your good nature will end up leading to the Jedi being destroyed across the galaxy. Oh god. So as the conflict's starting up, TORBIN's ready for fight, Mama Zabrax ready to fight, all the witches are there to attack, and as they're doing all this, May comes running out and yells, we help Mama, and Soul thinks it's Osha, and it turns out to be May, and then May goes like, we started a fire, and then they're all freaking out. Mama Zabrax and TORBIN prepare to fight as we watch freaking Jodie Turner-Smith do weird ghost disturbing magic in front of us, turning into mist, simultaneously turning Osha or May or whichever one it is into mist, And I would have reacted the same way. We've already established Soul thinks the girls are in danger. Soul thinks bad things are about to happen. Soul thinks all this stuff is going down. Jodie Turner-Smith doesn't help her case by kind of implying that she's not going to let any of them leave, no matter what it takes. She's not going to let the girls leave, and you can't take the girls. So, watching all this go down, Soul pulls out a lightsaber and stabs through mist, don't know how, and kills Jodie Turner-Smith in front of May. I don't know what was about to go on there. I don't know what was happening there. All I saw was Jodie Turner-Smith starting to basically absorb Osha or May, or whichever one it is, and be like force them to become one. Power 2. It's so disturbing. So we watch that all happen, and then she gasps as dies in his arms, and Mama Jodie Turner-Smith goes like, "I was gonna let Osha go with you and be a Jedi," as she dies. Why didn't you just tell that from the beginning? Why didn't you just say that from the beginning instead of trying to imply that you're not going to let him go with you? Why didn't you just say that? Say, hey, it's okay. We're gonna let Osha go with you. I'm being a mother here. I'm letting her go with you. No, you were implying that you weren't going to let her go with him. And then he's seeing you do all sorts of monstrous stuff. You've already tortured TORBIN. Naturally, he's gonna fight back. But no, she's supposed to have this like motherly death, and like we're supposed to feel sorry for her. It's like, I've only seen you guys be evil. That's all I've seen. So okay, she dies in his arms. Soul starts freaking out. The May runs up, starts crying, doing whatnot, and then Mama Zabrak yells battle, or no, she yells run to May, yelling at her to get back to the thing and do that stuff. We then see, Osha start climbing to the vents, don't know how. And then battle commences as frickin' TORBIN's deflecting arrows, Soul's just dodging attacks after killing Mama Jodie Turner-Smith, not willing to pull out a lightsaber, even though we've been told you can only pull out lightsabers when somebody has, is trying to hurt you and attacking you with a weapon. Yet he still won't pull out a lightsaber. He's just getting beat up by her the entire time. This is just the put down Soul episode. This is just destroy the Soul episode. And we watch as he just keeps getting beat up by her, and she's begging him to fight me. Why won't you fight me? And he goes like, he won't. And then he grabs her staff in one final attack. It goes, just that happens. And then we watch as the fire going through the electrical system causes massive explosions everywhere. And then Andara starts freaking out. We hear the whole gasping of the witches, where I thought they were supposed to die. They don't die there. Soul then cuts the whole like staff of Mama Zabrak with a lightsaber. That's when he finally pulls out his lightsaber, does nothing else, and then starts like preparing to defend himself. Mama Zabrak starts walking away, and they just let her. And then we watch as she uses her own weird dust magic thing, disappears, and they're like, TORBIN's all like, it's happening again. And you hear like a ghostly thing, and it's like, yeah, you should have brought him here. You should have known better than to bring him here. And TORBIN's all like, my mind's fortified now. You can't do anything to me. And they're like, not you. As we watch, they have taken control of Kelnaka. Real quick, just real quick. We were told by the writers and the producers, I believe, and people at Lucasfilm, that when Kelnaka died, and in that episode 4, whatever it was, they didn't have a Wookiee fight in the budget to watch him, defend himself before he dies. We get a whole Wookiee fight here. It was obviously in the budget. They just wanted to use the Wookiee to beat up TORBIN again! Because that's what happens here. We watch as the Wookiees, as all the witches are using their powers to control Kelnaka, being evil and trying to use Kelnaka to kill them both. And we watch this whole fight where Kelnaka is just throwing them around, just beating them up. He singles out, TORBIN most of the time, beating up on him. Soul comes in to try to help, but it keeps getting thrown around. TORBIN gets thrown over, and we watch him just berate and destroy TORBIN throws him up against the wall, and that's how he gets the whole, you know, scars, is because he went toe-to-toe with the Wookiee. Soul and TORBIN went toe-to-toe with Kalnaka and couldn't do jack crap to him. They were getting beat up the entire time, and we're watching as Kalnaka almost kills TORBIN. Which is, again, what's the problem with TORBIN? Why does the show hate TORBIN? I'm supposed to believe that TORBIN did something so heinous, hateful, and hurtful that when May comes to him and lays the poison down in front of him, that he's so saddened by what he did that he offed himself, that he drank the poison and died. I'm supposed to believe that. What do I see? I see him being so petrified of having to deal with May, so petrified of having to deal with the witches again. He might be a master, but he's terrified of them, and he offed himself instead. Instead of having to go deal with anything about them again, I'd rather just be gone. I'd rather just off myself, because all I have seen is TORBIN be tortured time and time again. It is disturbing to watch this. So Soul comes over and tries to pull Kalnaka's arm away, unable to do it. Eventually Kalnaka just lets TORBIN go and starts fighting Soul, and Soul's getting now thrown around and in this weird fight. And then randomly, as you know, Soul's struggling to even like put up a fight, freaking Master Andara shows up and does the freaking girl boss trick, because she's the bestest ever. She's the girl boss, and does the god dang trick of jumping, wrapping her legs around the Wookiee's neck, and forcing him to the ground. I'm supposed to believe that she could do that. I'm supposed to believe all of that can be done by Master Andara. She's this powerful Jedi, able to take down a Wookiee with one move. And at the same time, completely incapable to survive a little butter knife wound to the chest. A little stab. Complete bullcrap. Either she's strong enough to take down a Wookiee, which she shouldn't be, all by herself, or she's so pathetic that a simple butter knife can kill her. Well, now, to free Kalnaka, I don't even know how this works. She uses the Force to dig into his head to try to free him from the witch's control. And again, the witches have complete control over Kalnaka, and Andara succeeds. And by succeeding, she killed everybody. How did she just kill everybody? I don't get it. And you gotta remember, these witches were controlling Kalnaka and trying to use him to kill everybody. And all it took was Andara breaking the spell to kill all them? And I'm supposed to be sympathetic to the witches this entire time? Now, all I see is they had some weird hate boner for TORBIN. Justice for TORBIN! Hashtag justice for TORBIN. So, okay, the witches are dead. So everything's getting back up, and, you know, Kalnaka's freed, and as the fire rages on and bad stuff happens, Andara says, go get the twins now, and we watch Soul rush in, get back to that whole scene of, like, everything blowing up, you know, girls on the catwalk, and as the catwalks start to fall, you know, everybody's dead. Soul shows up and tries to protect both of them with the Force, tries to hold both catwalks up with the Force the entire time. But he's not capable of holding both catwalks up. So he's forced to choose which one to basically die. And he gives up on trying to save May and lets May fall to her death. That's what happens. You sacrifice one to save the one you wanted, and you barely were able to save her in the end. He was put in a lose-lose situation. Either he lets May fall to her death, which I still don't know how May survived. We don't know that. No way of knowing that. We watch May fall to her death. He watches Osha fall to her death, or she watches both of them fall to their death. He was forced to pick out of those 3 options. None of those options were good. I don't know if there's supposed to be like a Game of Thrones moment or something like that. I don't know what I just saw there. So okay, saves Osha. Yeah. Get back to the ship, and Dara's mad at everybody. And we see Torben all beat up, and he goes like, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's my fault." And Tanaka is sad because he got infiltrated, and frickin' Indara says, "Send message to the council," and starts chastising or berating everybody for each decision. And then Soul's like, I must confess my sins to the council. And you want to know why he doesn't confess his sins to the council? Because Indara told him not to. Because of all the decisions he was forced to take, you now have to take Osha on. You must now be in charge of this child. Honestly, I think that was a good decision. But he should have still been chastised and then forced to take care of Osha. He should have told them, like, hey, this is what happened. I'll give you the report. This is all what happened. And no. What they're gonna do is tell them the truth. Tell everybody the truth. All this at the end of the day was Indara's plan. We're just gonna leave out the parts of you guys going, honestly, trying to do the mission, and leave out the parts about, all the other stuff. We're just gonna leave that stuff out. How it all played out. Fire happened. Everything went boom. Everybody died. And May started the fire, which she did. May started the fire. Witches attempted to attack everybody. Attempted to hold the girls hostage, even though they were going to let May go, or Osha go. Hold the girls hostage. Weren't going to let them go with the Jedi, even though they were going to let them go with the Jedi. Tried to attack the Jedi. And to be perfectly honest, TORBIN was doing his job the entire time. The entire time, TORBIN was doing what was told of them. They had to find this magical force ability that could bring about life, or evidence that it exists. The girls are the evidence. TORBIN was doing his job. And Dara was standing in the way, saying, no, we can't do it. It's bad. We can't do that. No, your job is to do this. Go do this. Or tell them about this. Show them the evidence. And it's so stupid what I just saw. And all at the same time, Soul, TORBIN, Kalnaka are treated like dum-dums, while at the same time, Andara is treated like a hero and treated like the person that got roped up with a bunch of dum-dums, when she was the one that told them we're gonna leave out all the other stuff and not tell them about the powers and stuff like that. Oh, and then if you're still curious about how May survived, we don't see it. Episode ends with Soul talking to Osha, just like the whole backstory ended. And that's literally the end of the episode. That's it. All the information we got doesn't show the Jedi in an awful light. It just shows the Jedi Council or the Jedi as a whole as an awful light. It shows individuals and doing some dumb decisions, and the only one that actually did the right decision was TORBIN, and he's getting punished for making the right decisions. Well, you sit down and think about it. TORBIN did everything right and got punished for it every time. Soul was emotional, yes, but he's trying to save the girls, trying to help out the girls, because he's watching as this cult of communist lesbian witches are torturing these girls and teaching them the dark ways of the Force. And it's like, we have to do something. That our job as Jedi is to keep the balance. We must now investigate and possibly take these people on. Kalnaka gets treated like garbage the entire show. Just, you know what? No, not just for TORBIN anymore. Justice for Kalnaka and TORBIN. Both of them did nothing wrong and were just used and abused this entire show. Soul's stupid and Dara's borderline crazy, and I still don't know how May survived. I don't know who took care of May. I don't know what happened to Mama Zabrak, and all the witches are pure evil monstrous beings that I honestly don't feel sorry that they ended up dying after they tried to kill everybody. There's just one more episode, guys. There's just one more episode. I could get it. I could get it. And this whole show's done, and I never have to deal with it again. And the only thing I have to deal with after that is rings of power and Agatha. Oh God, what have I done? What am I set up to do? Oh no. No. But I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Let me get your guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out, friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video live. I'm gonna drink myself into a tizzy now. Bye for now.